Welcome to Stay Paid, your number one sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals, keep more clients, and build the life of freedom you're working towards. That can only happen if you're willing to take action today. My name is Josh Steich, Chief Marketing Officer here at Reminder Media, joined as always by Luke Akery, President of Reminder Media. And our guest today is DeAnn Golden. DeAnn is the President and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Georgia Properties, leading a statewide organization of over 1,250 sales associates across 24 locations. Under her leadership, the company achieved $3.8 billion in sales volume in 2025, solidifying its reputation as one of Georgia's premier real estate brands. DeAnn's contributions to the industry include her service as Vice Chair of the Georgia Real Estate Commission and recognition as the most admired CEO by the Atlanta Business Chronicle. DeAnn, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
It is so awesome to be with both of you gentlemen and everyone listening. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on, especially if you're the most admired CEO. I've got to learn some secrets from you. How do you become the most admired CEO? I think people would say some things about us. I don't know if the most admired from our crew, but what do you think is just shooting right off the gate? What do you think makes an incredible CEO and leader?
Oh, I love that question. Surround yourself with people more incredible than you. And I mean, truly, I was kind of smiling when I was listening to the accolades about our company. And I mean, those are the results of our sales associates every day waking up to, bring home the dream of home ownership. And I always say that, anything that we get recognized for as a company, it's the collective whole of what each and every one of our agents, each and one of our staff, each and one of our broker managers, our leaders are doing. And so again, to be the most admired, CEO, that's not about DeAnn Golden. That's about the company and what the company has done to earn the respect of the consumers, staying power since 1963 when we were founded. So I'm honored to bring that home to the company because it's truly the company's energy and operations is who won that award.
Yeah, well, you can already tell by your answer that you are a great leader because, leadership is truly helping other people achieve their potential. And you can tell you're doing that. You're leading over 1,000 people, right? And that's really difficult because that's 1,000 different needs, 1,000 different personalities, 1,000 different goals, right? Some similarity, of course, across them. But I'm curious, how do you try to cut through the noise that is happening in the industry and get your agents productive, right? Not just busy, not just scared, but actually productive. What's working for you right now when you're talking to agents?
Well, I think it starts with getting to know your people that you're surrounding yourself with. And, we talk about real estate being a relational business, right? And that's not just agents with their clients, but it's also managers, leaders with our clients who are our agents. And I love your sign and I love your slogan to take action because, we say people are at the heart of the real estate. We say that, but do we really take action and make it happen? Do you really get to know the people around you? So one of the things, being so honored to serve so many people, I take it a personal responsibility of me to try to know my agents, to try to know our staff, to know them as human beings, to know what their why is, to know what makes them tick. And then we utilize our managers to be that extension, to make it personal because it's a relational and to get someone to move the dial. I've always said training transfers knowledge, and I'm really a trainer at heart. I came from a training background in this industry. After first job I was a receptionist, true story. We can circle back on that later.
That's the title of the podcast, From Receptionist to CEO. Yeah.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But see, training transfers knowledge, but coaching is what transforms the person. So to the question, how do you get people, more productive? Well, one, you've got to know their why. What motivates them as people? Why are they rising every day as an independent contractor to come help guide people home and to go through, the points of pain and pleasure that we're called in to help people during moves? And then once you know their why, then how do you help transform them? How do you coach them? And it's a two-way dialogue, and so much of it comes with listening more than speaking. Because when I can find out what drives you, and I can find out what really motivates you and what your why is, we can translate that into how you can be better to serve the people that you're privileged to help make the American dream come true. So I do believe in a lot of accountability. I think accountability is critical. We can have all the greatest plans in the world, but if we don't write them down and track and measure and improve, we're going to be back at square one. And I think too, it also takes looking at the heart. You said, how do you cut through the noise? And I'd probably put that as number 3. We have to cut through the noise today, because it will paralyze you. It will distract you. And stay focused on what matters and what moves the dial. What matters most. There's a great book on that, and you've got to stay focused on that, in my opinion.
So good. I had breakfast with one of my pastor mentors today, and we were just reminiscing and talking about how it's so crazy how the people that you really, really appreciate that are in your corner are the ones that are not easy on you, but the ones who are truthful with you. And it's like you use accountability, like you got to bring accountability. And it's like, if you really care about someone, I've struggled with this over the years, that you tell yourself you want to be kind, but what you're really doing is creating a narrative for yourself of weakness, because true kindness is holding people to their potential and to what they said they wanted. And like from an accountability standpoint, which is always so hard as a leader, because we always translate motivation, or at least in my mind, you translate it to like a feeling often, but that's not really true. Like motivation from a feeling perspective comes and goes, or at least it has for me, but it's really discipline. It's really the ability to get people tied back to their why, like you're saying, over and over again, and speaking the truth. So I love it. I think everything you said is spot on from a leadership standpoint. I like to shift gears a little bit, because we're, trying to help agents, grow in their business. And I would love to hear your take on right now in the market. There's different, depending on who you follow. It's the worst market ever. It's the worst market in 40 years. Most agents aren't doing deals. Where are you focusing agents right now to try to go get business? And what activities are you trying to encourage, or are your managers underneath you trying to encourage to go get business?
Great question. Great focus. Because of the noise, if you get caught up in the noise, you're going to be worried about tomorrow, and you're going to be worried about the future, and you lost today. And what you do today is what's going to plant the seeds in our business 60, 90 days. So one of the things we really try to hone in on is take control of the activities. Wake up every day with your gratitudes, right? Let's start with the right mindset, because we are going to be encountering people going through difficulties in life. If we're called in at the points of pain, whether it's death, divorce, financial distress, we've got to be able to be an uplifting consultant to guide them with sensitivity, passion, and compassion. If we're called in at the points of pleasure, a birth, a job increase, a positive relocation, somebody getting married, somebody, moving and their financial statuses, we're called in at those exciting times. So we've got to be focused on who are those people that need us? Who are those people that we can be stewards to not only help them with this one transaction today, but be that person that they really are going to view as the guardian of their financial wealth and generational wealth for days to come. And that can be something as simple as having a tracker. At the end of the day, I'm not necessarily concerned, Luke or Josh, did you make 100 calls? Did you have 10 meaningful interactions? Did you make an impact in someone's life? Did you give them valuable information about their real estate equity, about what it takes to get from where they're at to where they want to be? Did you talk to someone who's been in their home longer now than ever, that people are living in their homes, about things we should be doing in this in-between? There is always something to do meaningful in our business. And it's not just always helping show a house or list a house, although we say those are the high activities. If you're not showing, selling, negotiating, or closing, what are you doing productive? I have a slightly different take, because I think there's so many meaningful moments in between that you can be giving guidance and help and asking people questions. Asking people, have they thought about their real estate plan? Do you have a plan? Most people are going to tell you no. So now you have a reason to set an appointment, to get in front of them, to guide them. Are
you an advocate of, how like the financial planner sits down, usually more than once a year, maybe 2 times a year or quarterly, financial advisor does it. Are you an advocate of doing that as a real estate agent? And if so, like, how do you do that? Because the industry, I should say the industry, the consumer, I don't know if they see the real estate agent as a financial planner. Like, no offense and respect, I live in the industry, right? But it's like, how do you deal with that?
Well, I think it's twofold. And, I had the privilege of being a student of Alan Dalton, who has really helped bring the idea of financial consultative approaches to our industry, to not just be on the sales side at the moment of impact, as we say, buying and selling, but really able to step back. And I think it comes from deciding that this is how you want to be known as, and educating yourself. How can you turn yourself into a true consultant? What are the questions to ask? What is the pathway to ask? What is the real estate lifestyle planning guide that you can be delivering complimentary to your people? Go talk to a financial planner. Real estate is not one of the tenants that they typically will talk to their consumers about, or their clients about in the portfolio. Think about the people you've sat with. When's the last time? Maybe it's starting with asking a financial planner, can I be that arm when you're consulting?
Oh, that's a great idea.
It's a great way to start to get the confidence, because you can be part of that meeting with someone, and then you can take that and learn from it. Same thing with an accountant. When's the last time an accountant said, other than, did you have a tax deduction? Did you buy a house? Do we need to take something off on your tax? Surround yourself in spaces where you can be known. And then also, with the power of social media today, we didn't have that 31 years ago when I started in this business. But I came out of education with an MBA. And so I was kind of trained from the beginning that I could bring a consultative, a financial model to people to help them know that, one, I respect their equity. I respect their generational wealth. I respect the fact that they're entrusting me as a guardian to protect their net worth and to help them grow, as well as make their dreams come true. So reading about it, learning about it. But if you do model what a financial planner has done and study how to become a real estate consultant and financial consultant, you can go to that level. And more times than not, it's asking questions and listening. Luke, where do you see yourself in 10 years with your financial real estate house? What is your portfolio, Josh, going to look like, when you're 80? Have you given thought to it?
Come on, Josh.
Right?
You have
all the time.
See, that's why you take action. But those kind of conversations, beyond when somebody says, how's the market, or what's going on in the real estate industry? Oh, interest rate.
Well, real estate agents don't ask those questions. No, respectfully to them, it's like you are spot on. Like,
It's so good, yeah.
Like, I think of Acre Brothers Realty. I'm going to ask my brother Steven. It's like, hey, are we asking people, hey, how is your real estate portfolio? They'll be like,
change
what?
the narrative.
They'll be like, what are they talking? What are you talking about?
Do a poll today. Go on Instagram today. Do a poll.
Yeah.
What's your 1, 5, 10-year real estate plan?
Yep.
Do you have a plan?
Yeah. How
What's
is your
plan for
financial
generational wealth?
asset of real estate trending for you? Your points have got my brain. I don't know what's happening in your brain, but my brain's spinning, where I'm thinking, think about the real estate agent's opportunity to, like, I think of my home insurance right now and what I pay. I really don't know if I have the right home insurance, what I'm actually paying compared to what I should be. Right. And I think about, like, my HVAC system, my roof. I think about, like, Megan and I are just remodeling our kitchen. And got my friend real estate agent to come out, and I told him this is what I want to do. He hooked me up with a contractor, and I was talking to him about, is it worth it to spend this much on the kitchen and stuff like that. But if you were sending an update quarterly to your people, or even annually, sitting down with them and saying, hey, this is what you're spending on your home insurance. And just so you know, I know. And then that gives you a perfect opportunity to partner with the property casualty insurance agent. And now you're the wing of that person. And same for financial advising. So it really is an awesome opportunity. How do you get agents to do it?
So twofold. One thing, you've got to look at the statistics that we're faced with today in the industry. When I started in Atlanta 20 years ago, about 10 years into my career, the average, person was moving every 4 to 7 years. Mm-hmm. The statistics from the latest NAR profile of home buyers and sellers is now that is every 10 to 13 years. Okay.
Wow.
So look at the reality of the facts that we're not called in at the same frequency that we were before to do what you think of when you initially think of a real estate salesperson, right? So we've got to now reinvent. I'm very proud. I'm part of the Home Services of America network. And one of the things that we have really kind of wrapped around is delivering the complete real estate experience, which again, brokerage is just one piece. Finding the dream home, finding the commercial space, finding the lot, the land, that brokerage piece is one component of the wheel. But for the majority of Americans, they're going to need financing, right? They're going to need mortgage. So we bring those services. There's going to always be title, right? We're going to need to have the legal. So we bring those services forced to the model. Then insurance, you just hit it. That should be something every year you are having someone do another health checkup.
Yes.
Just like the equity checkup of your home. And then bringing peace of mind with warranty. We also have property management, new homes, commercial. So we try to bring that whole piece into the complete real estate experience. So we're there, not to mention we want to know all the important things about the community, all the important restaurants, all the important activities, because we are that ambassador. I always love to think I'm kind of an extension of the Chamber of Commerce, welcoming people in and building communities. Now, to your question, how do you get people to do it? Break it down to actionable items. You know, today, if you wake up and your agenda is not booked, right, with active clients, pick up the phone, call 2 people today, say, hey, I'm sending you a real estate review. I took the initiative to give you a breakdown of your portfolio based on the current home that you have. It's complimentary. We'd love to set up time for a coffee or to stop by and meet you and your wife, and we can go over it. But this is just something I provide as a consultative service to my top clients. Do 2 today. Do 2 tomorrow. Do 2 Monday.
Yep.
Do 2 more. All of a sudden, at the end of a year, if you do 2 a day, think of the number of people whose lives, 1, you've touched, 2, you thought of them, 3, you've given them something meaningful that no other professional is providing them. It's not selling, it's serving and it's consulting. And it leads to really fascinating. I've even done it sometimes with financial planners where I would say, I'll be delighted to give this to you complimentary for all of your clients in your portfolio.
That's such a good idea. That is such a good idea.
So it's thinking outside the box. And then you can also take that same to the generational wealth piece. You know,
like estate planning, you're saying basically is like helping them think of the next generation, think of where they're going to be with this property.
So those are some niche markets to, again, break it down simple, not make it so nebulous, like, oh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be known as one of Alan Dalton's real estate consultants, right?
Yeah.
But what he's teaching is so strong.
It's spot on. He has a whole certification now he's coming out with.
He sure does, and it's excellent.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think I'm going to release an episode with him here soon that talks about that stuff. But it's spot on to see you as the consultant versus just the realtor.
And it elevates, when I began in this industry, and I know the statistics are still out there, I wanted to be respected. I was in my 20s. I was trying to make it in an industry. And respect was really important. And I didn't have the experience. I didn't have, the background. I didn't have the awards and recognitions. But, I had this desire to try to help people. And I'm a second generation realtor. So I had the privilege of watching my mother for 44 years be there in the lives of other people, not just for one transaction, but for multiple. Her first opportunity to serve someone was she took a rental in 1978. That rental, over the course of her career, transitioned into 26 different sales. But if she was here today, she would tell you, but that's this many marriages, this many children. This is when we moved Aunt Betty here. They even named a pet horse after me. I mean, truly, when you think about that kind of moment, and she can probably still tell you every address, how many bedrooms, how many baths, because she knew her trade.
She was relational, yeah.
She was relational. And that's when this career, it's a calling.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. I think about like all you've been through from receptionist to CEO. And I'm just always curious for myself, right? Because we all want to be students of success. And it's really hard for someone to talk in a third person about their talents. But I'm going to challenge you to do it. What do you think it is that separates you as you think back on your journey and you go, okay, why did you make it and others didn't, right? Why did you get to the level you're at? And I know there's great mentors and you want to get credit to others, which I totally appreciate character-wise, but what do you think it is that like you go, yeah, these were the traits if I was trying to teach my kids, because I have 2 young kids and one on the way, like what do you see as the keys?
It's a great question. I'm laughing because I keep this picture on my desk. I know I'd show it here, but I don't know if you'll see it. But that was me in 1995 answering the phone as a receptionist.
I love that.
Okay?
That's awesome.
So here's the advice. Answer your phone. And if your phone's not ringing, pick up the phone and make proactive calls. Make a commitment every day that there's somebody out there that needs you. There's somebody out there in some way, shape, or form you can help. Even if it's just calling, and I'm laughing because that says happy birthday, and even if it's just calling to wish him happy birthday. For me, coming out of college with debt, failure was not an option, right? It was not an option, but you get objections, you get regret. There were several times I wasn't certain that this career was going to be for me. But I remembered thinking, you know what, if others can do it, why can't I? Why can't I learn more? Why can't I try? Why can't I listen? Why can't I have mentors? And so to me, you said something earlier with your pastor about critical conversations. And I had people that I was blessed with in my life that I didn't always like what they said when they said it to me, because they were maybe telling me not exactly what I wanted to hear, but what I ultimately needed to hear. And they had those critical conversations with me that said, DeAnn, if you focus and just take one client at a time, one opportunity, what that ripple effect will have. If you're not able to handle this one particular client, take a colleague with you. If you're not quite certain how to do something that's outside your wheelhouse, refer it, learn, grow. So, for me, my mother started teaching me how to answer our phone at the house, because yes, we had like a house phone. We didn't have pager, cell phones, instant messages. We actually had to answer the phone. And so people are relational. They want to have relationships. They want to know people. So I don't know. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the, fastest. I'm not the most, I'm kind of techie, believe it or not. I'm actually rather techie. but techie for me will never replace high touch. So maybe that's the difference, was that I just rose and said, I want to serve. And I am a big believer that, bringing someone into a home, that is more than bricks and mortar. That is more than dirt and foundation, right? To me, a closing is not a closed chapter. To me, a closing is when we're opening the doors to the next relationships with these people and how we go deeper in their lives and how we're there for them through the joys and the tribulations. So I view the business as not transactional, and I don't even view it as just relational, because there can be good and bad relationships, right? And relationships are just connections. But I really look at it being more of a steward. And I had a mentor tell me that. So that might be the other kind of final point is, at the end of the day, I hope people know that I am going to really try to be a guardian of what's right for them. And sometimes that's telling people, this isn't right for you. This isn't the right time. This isn't the right career. This isn't the right house. And that's almost as rewarding. But I don't know. I just keep trying.
It's so good. So we've done, how many episodes do you think we've done?
600, and I think we're like high 600s.
So right. So
670?
we've done a lot of hours of podcasts. What I hope people go back and even listen again, because there's 2 themes. Really, you could say 3.
First is teach your children how to answer the phone.
Yeah.
I made that mistake, and I didn't realize it until my daughter got a cell phone and I called her the first time. She said,
the dinner table, right?
She said, yeah. She didn't even say hello.
You say,
this
is Chloe.
Hello,
I was like, oh, man,
I'm here.
We never had to teach him how to answer a home phone.
Well, I was thinking about that the other day in the restaurant. We were in Applebee's, and I was like, my daughter's 5. I was like, I need to make her order. Like, I need to get her teaching her how to communicate.
Yeah.
But
I'm a mom too, so that's been probably one of the hardest things to teach is my own children. But we do it. We do it.
You have to. It's like the highest calling, as they say. You, like, for people listening, like if I listen to you, what I just picked up, and I try to build frameworks out of what I'm learning from people. One is, you said, if they can do it, I can do it. And I hear that often, is this, like, I just a mindset of belief, a mindset of like, it starts there. It starts that you have to believe. And that ties to, what else did you say? You said you believe so much in the value that you're bringing, that these people need you. These people want you. These people, like, you have to believe with this mindset. And then number two, it's like, I don't know exactly what to do. I don't know exactly what to say all the time. I don't know exactly who to call, but I just did. I did. It's because I have a mindset that's right, that then forced the action. And then the last thing, which I love you close, because it literally is a framework. It's basically, get your mind right, and then just take action, and then focus on the impact, focus on the stewarding, focus on the, like, it's not going to be all about the results, because sometimes it won't pay off monetarily or the way you want it, but you're a steward. You're creating impact, and that's the thing that ultimately matters. And so if people go rewind and listen, like, that's what you're going to hear. And I've heard it now from enough people that I go, Nate, I believe that's it. I believe if you want to be successful, starts with your mindset. Do you believe you can actually do it? And you should believe you can do it, because if somebody else did it, you can definitely do it. And then it's you got to believe in the value that you have.
I'll tell you, we this past year, again, our company's been in business for over 6 decades, and I came into this role as CEO just about 3.5, almost 4 years ago. And through our evolution, who we are as a company has stayed true, right? I mean, our mission, vision, core values have stayed, but we refreshed them for kind of the modern times. And our 4 core values starts with integrity is number 1, always. Yeah. Number 2, it's innovation, because we've got to keep innovating. Number 3 is impact. What we're doing, if it's not impactful, why are we doing it? Right? And then the 4th is not because it's the least important, it's actually the most important, underlying it all, is people first, relationships above all. And if you do those 4 things, as we say kind of in our mission vision, it's about, connecting people with the places where life happens, and then being there for all of life's moves. And those words to us really resonate for our agents, our clients, our staff, and then of course our tagline, always a good move. Because good, I want it to be good. I want it to be pure. I want it to be honest. I want it to feel smooth. Yeah, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. Mm-hmm. But whatever that move is that you need to make in life, we want it to be connected with our professionals who, they inspire me every day. And I'd say to anyone out there, if you have a burning desire and a passion, surround yourself, to my opening comment, with people better than you. And just.
Well, you find that, like, what I love about the integrity thing, because it translates to joy. I'm learning this a lot. And we've talked about this, and the difference of a growth-based business and a lifestyle business, and a business, I want to run a business that I'm proud of. And that's a business that you believe in what you're doing. You believe in how you're representing it. And that brings you peace. You might not get totally win the biggest deal all the time, or get the most profit all the time, because you could. But when you get the most profit sometimes and you don't do it with absolute integrity, it doesn't bring you peace and joy. It just brings you anxiety and stress. That's all it brings you. Right. And it's just interesting that as you mature in life, you start learning that more and more. And so if you can start out that way, oh man, it's so much better if you can start out that way. I'm wondering, in your years, what's one of the biggest mistakes you've made?
I've made tons, but use every mistake and every failure as an opportunity to learn. Every time I have failed, or every time I have done something wrong, own it. Don't point it, own it. That was a decision I made, wasn't right, wasn't smart. I didn't get all the information. Learn from it. Ask people. I'll come off of a presentation, or I'll come off of a moment with our agents, or I'll ask, how can I be better for you? What could I have done differently? What could we do better next time? Those questions to me are probably some of the biggest dial movers. And, oh, you did a great job. Great. But what could I have done more? What could I have done better?
I love that. I need to start adding that.
Yeah. what could I have done that really would have not only met your expectations, but exceeded them? That's probably one, but I'm an old competitive swimmer. And my dad always had a saying, you know, you're not going to win all your races, DeAnn, but if you know every time you get in the water, you gave it your best, you gave it your all.
Yep.
And that's all you can ask. And when you put your head down on the pillow at night, even on the days that feel like the sky's falling and everything's blowing up, you know, but did you give it your best? And if you gave it your best, if you learned a lesson in the process, you'll be ready for the next tomorrow. And there'll be more failures. I mean, it's like change and setbacks and obstacles. I mean, those are givens in life. As Zig Ziglar says, you know, it's not how hard you fall, it's how high you bounce. And boy, I've hit hard a lot of times. You know, and it's that resilience piece. But also know we're all human. At the end of the day, we're all going to make mistakes, and we're all going to, but, you know, own it and rise tomorrow and try to regain and live up to it.
I love that.
One last question on my side for you. I know we have to wrap up here. I feel like I have a wealth of knowledge in front of me, so I just want to pick your brain. You know, hiring people is one of the hardest things to figure out because, you know, if it's so easy in like interviews to be fooled or to show your good side. Have you learned any good tricks on like identifying great people and like things that you do during interview processes that have helped you ID like really high potential and great people?
Super question. And you're right. We myself over my 31 years have had the privilege of, attracting extraordinary people. And we all know the fallout rate in our industry too. So I'm on this mission also as a real estate commissioner to overcome that 87% of people are falling out.
Yeah.
And this goes for both staff as well as employees. But to that, I'll always say to people that I'm talking to, you know, selling a home, selling a massive commercial development, doing the most sophisticated negotiations truly becomes one of the most simple parts of our business. The complicated part is understanding the psyche of people and understanding really their needs, their desires, and their abilities, and putting that forefront. So if I was interviewing you gentlemen, you know, I'd probably ask you three things. You know, one, what's your why? Why do you want to do this? What brought you into this industry at whatever point? What was the pivot? What was the why? Listen to those answers. It is so telling. You know, number two, when you're 80 looking back, what do you want your legacy to have been while you're in this industry? Start with the end in mind. Fascinating what they'll say. And then number three, I always ask this question because it was asked to me. Are you coachable? And that's giving me permission, or our team or our managers permission to have those critical conversations, or to be able to say, hey, you know, we need to perfect, we need to grow. Are you willing to improve? Are you willing to listen and take feedback? And likewise, I got to do the same. I always end it with, please understand, I've learned in my career, I have to be coachable as your leader, and I got to be better. So you're going to need to tell me how I can be better for you. Those things, I think those three questions, I really do use in my,
That's great. Yeah, it's awesome. Because I've been trying to figure out what are the right questions to ask people. And it's one of the interview questions I've been asking a lot of the teams that I've been interviewing. It's like, how do you try to sort out who's good and bad? Because I've made so many mistakes on the people I've hired. And, you know, I don't blame them necessarily, more blame myself of going, okay, I'm not vetting out appropriately who the person is and what they want and what I need, and making sure that's in alignment. So I love those questions.
And don't stay so focused on the skill set they bring. If they're coachable and they bring the right heart and the right passion and the right care, and they're hungry to learn, to grow, to serve, we can teach them skills for the most part, you know, or equip them with other people.
Yeah, I'm seeing that more and more. It's I used to go, it was like, I had it in like four things of like energy, call it sales ability. So communication, like sales ability, and then hunger. And then I had character. Like those were four things I was looking for. It's like, do they have the right energy? Do they have communication skills, like sales ability? Are they hungry? And do they have character? And the more I've done this, the more I go, all that matters is character and hunger.
Yeah, no, it is. And
character being the number one.
That's right.
Character being the number
That's right.
one.
And with different generations entering the workplace that have come from different backgrounds and different ways of growing and learning and interacting with human beings, that is as I say, a unique opportunity for all of us moving forward. So if you nail it, let me know. Let all your listeners know. Yeah. And anyone out there, if you've got the magic formula, let's all share. And but
so good.
Awesome. DeAnn, thank you so much for being here today and sharing all of your wisdom. Before we close out, let people know how they can connect with you.
So it's DeAnnGolden.com. That's my URL. You can find me also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of the above. But you know what? Go on there, get my phone number and call me, and I will answer my phone because I really like having voice-to-voice connections. But
love that.
Thank you again, gentlemen. I appreciate what y'all do and love what you're doing. So
thank you
everybody
so
keep
much.
Listening.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for listening. You can dive deeper to this episode. Go to staypaidpodcast.com for the show notes. If you enjoy this episode, make sure to head over to youtube.com/remindermedia, subscribe to the channel, and give this episode a thumbs up. The best way to show your support is simply to share this episode with someone that you know. If you want to get a hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com and follow us on Instagram. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Josh Dyke.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. DeAnn, thank you. So much wisdom, so much knowledge. My 2 action items, because I can't give you one with this much wisdom flowing here on the show. I got to give you 2 action items here. One is that pick up the phone and call 2 people. Like you heard DeAnn say that, call 2 people and offer to sit down with them. Take that initiative and say, hey, I did a analysis on your home. I did a plan, a real estate plan for you. I want to see what you think. I'd love to sit down with you. Just call 2 people. That's an action item. The other action item, which I think is so golden, go to the insurance agent, go to the financial advisor or the estate planning attorney and offer to be the real estate arm to their practice where you can help educate their clients on their real estate position. What an incredible opportunity, especially for the insurance agent who, no offense to the insurance agents out there, I work with thousands of them. You guys don't keep in touch with your clients as much as you should because you have so many of them. And the real estate agent could add a touch that then elevates your brand. So if you're listening to this, remember the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business. It's top producers take action. Take action on that today.